guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm not sure if you guys have heard the news about this, and I am sorry, Vicky Raves, if this is bringing up a little bit of a sore spot with you, but if you have not watched Meteor Garden 2018, then you best get on that. Why? Because as of December 1st, it's going to be gone off of Netflix. So you better go ahead and get your binging, your finishing up, your rewatching Yaya's out before it disappears. So what's interesting is because it had debuted on Netflix globally in July of 2018. So it's been on there for 6.5 years. And I remember when it started coming on to Netflix. Of course, I did not touch it then, but I remember when it was like the first shoo-in of a lot of Asian dramas coming towards the West, or at least globally on the international scale. And so I think with that, it was the best choice that they could have done for Meteor Garden, because with that, it got a better global audience than if it would have been on Viki. At least with Netflix, is a lot more accessible, because as far as I know, Netflix was the main streaming channel before everybody came out with streaming channels, really. So now that the license has lapsed, I guess the real speculation is, where is it going to go next? And I think everyone kind of has like the right answer on where it possibly will go. And if not, it'll be a mistake for it not to. Viki is the only other place I think it should go to. Why? Because Viki already has licenses for majority of the other Honey Oridango or Boys Over Flowers content. So it's only fair that Meteor Garden 2018 will go with this other BOF brethren. So with that being said, I think there's also a few other properties that I want Viki to try and pick up if they can. So the other licensed properties that are still hanging out there besides for 2018 Meteor Garden is there is a 1995 movie version of Honey Yoridango. It was in 95, and of course the manga was still coming out then, and it wasn't finished. So you take that with a grain of salt. The initial start of it still follows the rough lines of what we see in majority other versions of Boys Over Flowers. They might pick up that movie. They might not. They might not touch it. That movie is also on YouTube. That's where I had watched it the last time I had checked. If it's still on there, give it a watch. It's just an hour and a half. And let it judge for yourself. Then you have the anime, which is the other licensed product they have. It is on Crunchyroll. And I think I'm episode 5 into 1500, but at least it's not One Piece. But I hope to resume that and pick that up. It's on my husband's account that I need to like go ahead and watch through. And the last property that I really want Viki to pick up, polish, and debut on that platform is, of course, the 2001 version of Meteor Garden. So I'm really like wanting that version to really get shine, because yes, the Korean version of Boys Over Flowers was a hit internationally. It was the part of the Hallyu wave that came over here. So with that, it should be given, no pun intended, its flowers for that. And of course, I'm sure y'all have seen it everywhere, because it is on almost every platform that you can think of. It's on Prime, it is on Hulu, it is on Netflix, it is on Viki. And of course, my Chromecast also streams it like every other week. There's always like some kind of streaming channel of Boys Over Flowers. You can't escape it. It is what it is, regardless of how I might feel overall about it. Still, I give it its flowers for what that drama has done in opening more people to, especially for K-dramas. This is like the opening part of it. With that being said, I think the same shine should be given to Meteor Garden, because they were the first ones to really be a hit internationally. I think it was really a hit in both the Philippines and Indonesia. Y'all can correct me on that, but this was like the big monumental hit. And I'm like, and they were the original big boy band F4. They had several hits. You cannot dismiss the magnitude of what they had initially laid down, especially with them being the first live action series to get all of the other ones started. So I'm really hoping that Vicky can go ahead and try and find the license. I don't know if they can. I started watching it on YouTube and it's still on there. I am currently on season 1 of it, and I'm about midway, about like episode 17 or 18. I think it was like Domingsa had his birthday party. That's where I'm roughly at. And this is out of 27. Then there is a 3-part episode in the middle, like a little special series called Meteor Garden. Like each episode is a chapter on 3 of the 4 guys. So you have Mezua, you have Shimon, and then you have Domingsa. So you have all of them in that little thing, just as an in-between. And then you have Meteor Garden 2, which finishes up the rest of the series. And I believe at this rate, the manga still wasn't finished. So there's a lot of things that might not be the same endings as we have in all the other Boys Over Flowers iterations. Who's to say? I don't know. I haven't gotten to that part, but it's back on my list of next year to finish watching the Taiwanese version of Meteor Garden, so I can finally be officially done with majority of the live actions here. I don't know if y'all know this. There's quite a few unofficial properties out there. I think even the US had done a weird version of it that nobody wants to talk about, and that's okay because nobody wants to refer to it. But I think the other version I really want them to pick up is the Meteor Shower 2009-2010 version of it, and it has someone you might recognize in there. He's still kind of around here in the Chinese industry, and that's Jang Han. He just came out with Faithful Love, like the debut back in the summer, so he's still around. He also like did Bossing Me and a few other hits that a lot of people know about. And that's the thing, like, he looks so young in that one. He looks like a baby, even though he's like my age. But I just think that's like refreshing to see. I really hope that if they haven't already, that Vicky would pick up that one. I think that one's on YouTube too, but it's interesting to watch, especially if you're already familiar with Jung Han. So I really want to see like if anybody of that have watched that caliber. But it's unofficial. This was before, of course, China could get the licensing for Meteor Garden, which will of course take 8 years later. Also, Indonesia has also done 2 series. It actually lines up, ironically enough, with the Taiwanese version back in 2002 and also the Chinese version in 2018. I thought that was fascinating. So I don't know, Indonesia might beat out Philippines for their own version. I think like Philippines probably came close with He's Into Her. I think that might be their closest Boys Over Flowers iteration they can get. But who's to say? I don't know. I plan on, of course, doing more content regarding Boys Over Flowers because I do love the different versions of what they bring. And my bestie and I are going to do like a drinking game because I think it's necessary, especially for Boys Over Flowers, the Korean version. Like, the dramatics. So let me know in the comments, what was your favorite version? Which is your hierarchy of versions if you've seen majority of them already? Or which country do you think will be next in line to do their own version of Boys Over Flowers? Because I'm like, it seems like everybody's knocking out their version, so why not? Vietnam, I'm looking at you. So, again, thank you for watching this video. Please comment, like, stay a while. And as I have said, this is just my thought.